Welcome back. Thank you for logging in and watching this video about literature. And you will find this in your Classics for Young Readers book. And I'm actually reading the poems or the stories in verse narrative. So that's the third part of this book. And we're actually going to dive into the Inchcape Rock, which can be found on page 66. So go ahead and turn there now. I do want to reemphasize the importance of taking notes while you're reading these poems and stories. I always like to keep my screen open. I like to type more than I like to actually handwrite things, but that is your decision. So it is narrative verse, which means narrative is a story. Someone's telling a story, and it's in verses. When you look to page 66, you're going to see that the lines aren't written in paragraph form. They're written in 4-line stanzas. That is a verse. That is what narrative verse is, a story plus the stanza. So I want to read one verse and then stop, and we're going to identify the rhyme scheme, the pattern of the rhyming words. So here's the first verse of the Inchcape Rock by Robert Southey. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was as still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean. All right, I definitely heard some rhyming words there. The rhyme scheme for this poem is AABB. It basically means the first and the second line are going to rhyme. 1, 2. And then the third and fourth line are going to rhyme. And we hopefully will see this pattern throughout the entire narrative verse poem. So let's dive in and keep on going. I'm on the second verse on page 66. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape bell. The good old abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock. On a buoy in the storm, it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. So it's a big rock in the middle of an ocean or on the edge of a bay, but somewhere where ships probably can't see it. So an abbot, or someone who takes care of a lighthouse or somewhere on the sea, it's like a leader of a monastery, put a buoy right in front of it. And there's a bell on it, so that whenever the waves get going and it kind of moves back and forth, it rings the bell. That way ships can hear it. When waters are calm, the bell just sits there and it doesn't ring. Pretty ingenious, huh? Very smart abbot. So he placed that bell there. When the rock was hid by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell. And then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. So they love this abbot because they keep their ships from crashing into the Inchcape Rock. The sun in heaven was shining gay. All things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled around, and there was joyance in their sound. The buoy on the Inchcape Rock was seen, a darker spot on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the rover walked his deck, and he fixed his eye on the darker speck. He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle, it made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. Uh-oh. So he sees the Inchcape Rock, the Inchcape Bell. He sees it kind of floating there in the sea. And he's so happy and carefree, and he's walking the deck of his boat. But it says the rover's happiness or mirth is wickedness. I don't know what that's implying. His eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, my men, put out the boat, and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I'll plague the abbot of Aberbrothock. The boat is lowered, and the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape Rock they go. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat, and he cut the bell from the Inchcape Inchcape float. Oh dear. Down sank the bell with a gurgling sound. The bubbles rose and burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the abbot of Aberbrothock. So basically this captain is taking upon himself to make this abbot look bad and have them crash into the Inchcape Rock. So let's hypothesize or guess about what could happen next. Maybe Ralph's ship wrecks. because you cut down the float. You cut down that bell. Maybe people get angry at the abbot. I think I spelled that correct. English teacher, and I might spell it wrong. Ta-da! There we go. I got it right. So more ships crash. Really bad things could happen because Sir Ralph Rover cut off that bell and sank it to the bottom of the sea. Now, let's look at page top of 68, and let's finish out this narrative verse and see what happens. Sir Ralph the Rover sailed away. He scoured the sea for many a day, and now grown rich with plundered store, he steered his course for Scotland's shore. So he has plunder. Plunder is things that were stolen. I'm sure you've heard that by pirates or Vikings, the plunder and the pillage, all that good stuff. He stole something. So obviously this is a bad dude. He's cut down the warning bell, and then he's coming back super rich with all these stolen goods. But he's coming back, so we'll see what happens. Second verse on page 68. So thick a haze o'erspreads the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. So it's windy, 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 windy all day, and now it's calm, and the night came. On the deck the rover takes his stand, so dark it is they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, it'll be lighter soon, for there is the dawn of the rising moon. Canst hear, said one, the breakers roar? Methinks we should be near the shore. Now where we are I cannot tell, but I wish I could hear the Inchcape bell. They could hear no sound, and the swell is strong. Though the wind hath fallen, they drift along, till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock, full on the ledge of the Inchcape rock. Oh man, the rock got his revenge. He cut that bell, and look what happened. Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. The waves rush in on every side, and the ship is sinking beneath the tide. Ooh, so this poem definitely had a moral. And that moral is, don't destroy what's already there to warn you. Use those precautions. Use the wisdom of other people to prevent bad things happening to you. Because if you're Sir Ralph of Rover, you might crash into that rock and down goes your ship and all your stolen goods. So I hope that helped you understand this story a little bit more. I know some of these verses can be kind of confusing with or there and quoth he and all the weird language. So I hope I was able to decode this poem for you and make it a really enjoyable piece of literature. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon on my videos. Bye.